Hey everybody, happy Sunday evening. I wanted to come on Facebook today because there's something that's been on my mind, and I just wanted to share it because it's been an epiphany for me. And sometimes an epiphany, that realization, is not that you've learned something new, it's just that aha moment when it finally clicks for you. And so what's really been on my mind is the word fear. We actually don't use that word very much. Most often we say that we're scared of things. But in all actuality, we're talking about the spirit of fear. And I was really considering how much both myself and other people operate in the spirit of fear on a day-to-day basis. We're always fearful of something. We're afraid of driving in traffic. We are afraid of something happening on the job that's going to affect our money or even our employment status. We are afraid of what people are going to think of us. We're afraid of not being able to pay our bills. We're afraid of failing. We're afraid of so many things besides spiders and snakes, that we are really bound into the everyday routines that we have because those are comforting. They are safe, and they reassure us. So, I just really wanted to talk about that spirit of fear and how it's really preventing me, from being everything that you could be. That connection between what's in your mind, those hopes and dreams that you have, and being able to actually bring them to fruition, to make them happen for yourself. It's really difficult to sometimes to get outside of yourself. So I'm gonna tell you this story. My son just recently went to the doctor. He has allergies, so they had him go and get some blood work drawn so they can see what the extent of his allergies were. So keep in mind, my son is 7 years old. So we go to the phlebotomist. He gets in the chair. He gets the little rubber band put on his arm. And at this point, he's seen his brother go through the process, and he is upset. He is scared. The phlebotomist pulls out a needle, and he just goes hysterical. Okay, at this point, he's crying, he's upset, he's almost like hyperventilating, all that kind of stuff. And she's trying to calm him. We're all trying to calm him and reassure him. She even tells him that, hey, I'm using the baby needle for you, not the big one that I used on your brother. There's nothing to be afraid of. It's not going to hurt. But he was so anxious, so fearful about the situation, so fearful of that needle, that really his anxiety that he created for himself was greater than the actual pain that he felt getting his blood drawn. And I think my 7-year-old is so much like us sometimes. We are so fearful, so anxious over what could happen, what might happen, what somebody may say, that we keep ourselves from doing things when all actuality, what's the worst that could happen? And so I call it stepping out on faith. There's many times in my life where I've had to step out on faith. And that's when, despite my fears, despite my anxieties, despite everything looking like this may not work and it's not a sure thing, I'm going to go out and I'm going to do it, and I'm going to put my all into it, and I'm going to accept whatever the consequences are. That's when you move the spirit of fear aside. But the fact is, if you operate in fear, if you let that keep you from doing all the things that you want to do or need to do to take you to that next step in life, you're always going to be in the same place. That's the problem. So, that's when people start becoming envious of other people, when they start hating on other people because they see what other people have. You know what they're jealous of? They're jealous of the fact that that person over there got that because they weren't afraid to go out and get it. They weren't afraid to do what it took to go out and get it and to do that, be that, have that, whatever that is. That person didn't operate in fear, and here you are confined in this box full of fear, and you can't move front, back, side to side because you're scared. So what does it take for you to dig deep inside of yourself to figure out what's holding me back? How do I get rid of this fear? How do I get more confidence in myself? How do I say, you know what? What's the worst that can happen? I'm going to do it. I'm going to go own my own business. I'm going to go work for myself. I'm going to go talk to this person. You can walk into the room and you should be networking. But guess what? You're afraid. You're afraid to talk to new people. What if they don't like me? What if I'm the least qualified in the room? What if I can't hold a conversation? Fear. Just fear. But the fact is, you can go in and you can do whatever and be yourself, and people are going to love you for who you are. And if they don't, those aren't your people, and that's okay. But if we get over ourselves and get over the fear, so many things will be opened up to us. So many things you'll have the opportunity to do and to experience. And guess what? Failure is a part of life. It truly is. So you know what? Yeah, you might lose a job. Okay, you might miss a paycheck. It's not the end of the world. You'll get another job. You'll get another paycheck. You'll make some more money. It's going to be fine. But we have to stop operating in the spirit of fear. It's holding us back from the limitless things that we could be and that we could be enjoying if we just weren't so afraid. I talk about people being in competition with other people that they don't even know that they're competing against. You walk into a room and you're trying to see her hair, her dress, the car he's driving, all this kind of stuff. And you're competing with people, comparing yourself to these people, and they don't even know that they're in a competition with you. What are you doing? What are you doing? The only person that I have to compete against is myself. And you know what? Once I come to that realization, I stop fearing other people. I stop fearing what they're going to think about me, how they're going to react when I say this or when I do this. And that way I can just embrace myself, embrace my skills, embrace my strengths, and just move out there, go out and be prosperous. Oh my God, guys, if we can just get that concept that there's nothing to be afraid of. Most of the people that you see on TV, you see being successful, they've had trials, they've had tribulations, they've gone through things. And there were probably times where they were just scared beyond all reason that what they were going to do was going to be unsuccessful, that they were going to fail, that people would laugh at them. In fact, people probably did laugh at them. And yet there they are being successful. And all you see is the end result, not realizing that they went through all of that. So I'm just here to say the first step is just recognize that you're afraid. If you can just admit that, you say, you know what? I am afraid of what my spouse is going to think if I decide to become an entrepreneur instead of my 9-to-5. I am afraid of that. I am afraid of what my peers are going to think if I do this or do that. If you admit that first step, then you can do something about it. You say, okay, you know what? Well, maybe I can talk to that person. Figure out how they really feel. So you're not like my son sitting in the chair worried about what could happen. Let's talk about it. Because at the end result, it may not be as bad as you think it is. So let's not operate in the spirit of fear. Let's just get rid of that. Let's just get rid of that. Let's just push forward. Let's be confident. Let's just talk yourself up and tell yourself how wonderful you are, how beautiful you are, how skilled you are, how successful you are, and that you're going places and you're doing things, and that fear is not going to stop you. Because the fact is, if you're too fearful to ask for something, closed mouths don't get fed. The answer will always be no if you're too afraid to open up your mouth and say something. Open up your mouth and network. Open up your mouth and ask for what you want. That's how you get raises. That's how you get promotions. You open up your mouth and say something. Don't be so scared, so fearful that you're blocking your own blessings. Well, I hope you guys are having a really great Sunday. Let's ban out this spirit of fear, and let's be all that we were meant to be. Have a great one. Talk to you soon.